Caminante, no hay camino, se hace camino al andar. Caminante, son tus huellas, el camino y nada más. Caminante, no hay camino, se hace camino al andar.
The story of Make the Road New York begins in the early 90s, when a fierce Colombian woman arrived in Queens after fleeing the violence in her home country, longing for safety and a place she could call home. Her name was Sara Maria Archila. And like millions of immigrants whose essential but invisible labor keeps this city running, Sara Maria worked but could not vote. So in 1992, Sara Maria and a group of friends launched the Latin American Integration Center as a place where people could find community, support, and voice. They staged massive citizenship drives so that tens of thousands of green card holders who lived in Queens could become U.S. citizens and active voters. And in that way, immigrant communities could be visible, powerful, and respected in our democracy. In 1997, law students Andrew Friedman and Una Chatterjee arrived in Bushwick with a commitment to lend their skills to a community that was devastated by the inhumane and racist welfare reform of the mid-90s. Andrew and Una were welcomed into Bushwick by the Catholic priest Monsignor John Powers.
The number of families that were coming into the rectory constantly saying the same thing. They were working very hard, but they couldn't pay the rent.
Father Powers gave them an office in the rectory of a church, and he challenged them to not just help people with their immediate needs, but to listen so that they could build something more powerful together. In Bushwick, Andrew and Una found a community ready to fight for dignity, not just survival.
This is a community issue, so let's fight so that we can keep Bushwick affordable for our working class people.
With their eyes set on justice, Andrew and Una, working alongside brilliant immigrant and Black women and their families, built a community of love and action and made it into an organization where working class folks would find support and build collective power. They named it Make the Road by Walking. In the late 90s and the early 2000s, the members of Make the Road by Walking would grow their organization, building neighborhood committees where workers, tenants, parents, queer folks, and young people would talk about each other's dreams and struggles, and envision and lead campaigns to improve the lives of people in Bushwick and beyond. At the same time, Sara Maria and the team at the Latin American Integration Center helped more than 10,000 immigrants in Queens learn English and become U.S. citizens. In 2001, they expanded their work to the neighborhood of Port Richmond in Staten Island to serve and support an emerging community of Mexican immigrants. Immigrants, working class people, tenants, and students across New York City faced harsh living conditions, neglect from those in power, and isolation from one another. It was clear that our communities needed more power, and we needed to build it together. Sara Maria passed away in January of 2003, but her team carried on the work and continued her legacy. In 2006, in cities across the country, immigrants stepped out of the shadows to demand dignity. Make the Road by Walking and the Latin American Integration Center understood that the political courage on display in the streets needed to be met with a real concerted effort to build power. So they decided to join forces, and Make the Road New York was born. Our merger made sure that we were able to provide life-saving services to thousands more people, while inviting community members to fight together to transform New York. As a larger, more powerful and connected organization, we were able to reach more families, expand our impact, fight for our rights, and win critical electoral and policy battles. But soon we realized that working only in New York City wasn't enough. Immigrant families and communities across New York State were struggling as well. In 2011, we opened a center in Brentwood, Long Island, and in 2018, in White Plains, Westchester.
¡Sí se puede!
Racial equity and social justice can only be achieved when those most impacted lead the fight. That is why we are a membership organization, and why our 25,000 members shape all of our campaigns. Whether at nightly issue committee meetings, town halls, marches, or press conferences, or as part of our board. Through our organizing campaigns, we strive for a world that values the inherent dignity of everyone and an end to all forms of oppression. We envision a New York where all people have the support they need to live fulfilling lives, a place where students receive an education that brings out their best, where there are plenty of good jobs, high-quality affordable housing and accessible green space, where Black and Brown youth and trans community members can walk down the street without the fear of being stopped by the police simply because of who they are. Our work to create community schools, win victories in the workplace, preserve affordable housing, stop police abuse, decriminalize sex work, and expand access to healthcare all builds towards this vision. 25 years later, we invite you to celebrate this milestone for our organization by continuing to fight for respect and dignity for all of us. Sí se puede.
Caminante, son tus huellas, el camino y nada más. Caminante, no hay camino, se hace camino al andar. Al andar se hace el camino y al volver la vista atrás, se ve la senda que nunca se ha de volver a pisar. Caminante, no hay camino, sino estelas en la mar.
Exactly.